This is for the person standing there, watching the clock tick, feeling the walls close in. That tight knot in your chest, that feeling of having to shrink to fit someone else's narrow view of you. I've felt that. We're often told to just take the abuse, accept the denial, and move on. Forget that script. We are shifting the outcome. The secret to flipping the script isn't shouting louder. It's knowing the rules better. It's about leveraging calm competence and documentation so precisely that the person abusing their power suddenly realizes they've targeted the wrong person, or worse for them, the person who actually signs their checks. Here is the truth. Racism thrives in the gray areas, where policy is vague and documentation is absent. When we replace panic with preparation, we introduce clarity. Clarity is a weapon. You trade less fear for more dignity and immediate leverage. Imagine the quiet step that flips a $500 million deal. Picture a bank lobby holding its breath as a simple question unmasks systemic bias. These moments happen because someone chose documentation over indignation. Let me tell you about Dr. Lena Cruz. It was a polished Monday morning at the Fifth Star Bank's corporate lending division. Dr. Cruz, CEO of a major AI logistics firm, was there seeking complex nine-figure credit solutions. But when she walked in, the vice president, Mr. Harrison, saw only what he expected: a young black woman, likely seeking a small low-risk business loan. He saw the barrier, not the complexity. Harrison spent 15 minutes talking down to her about basic cash flow, using simplified analogies clearly reserved for applicants he didn't respect. He kept interrupting her portfolio explanations with a dismissive hand gesture. "Look, Dr. Cruz," he finally said, leaning back with paternal authority. "We appreciate your ambition, but based on your current profile, this specialized financing is typically reserved for clients with a more established relationship and a proven track record in our sector." He cited a vague internal guideline preventing him from proceeding. This is the common mistake: accepting the policy excuse without asking to see the actual policy. We assume good faith. When we argue without evidence, we give the abuser control. When we leave without documentation, we sacrifice accountability. Dr. Cruz felt the familiar heat of anger and frustration. She wanted to scream about the billions she controlled globally, but she didn't. She took a breath and activated her training. She knew that the best justice tool has no shouting. Before she walked into that room, she performed her own 10-minute mini ritual: Justice Prep. It's about moving from reaction to strategic action. The 10-minute Justice Prep ritual. 1. Center and breathe. 2 minutes. Find a quiet spot, posture tall, shoulders back, voice low and steady. This alignment tells your body, I am safe and I am in control of this. Interaction. 2. Activate witness mode. 3 minutes. Open your phone's camera app or voice recorder. Have it discreetly ready, prioritizing safety. If recording is impossible or illegal, prioritize detailed note-taking. Note the exact time, the location, and all names or titles. Silence is evidence. Record, report. 3. Policy snapshot. 3 minutes. Access the public policy documents relevant to the interaction: a bank's fair lending practices, an airline's contract of carriage, a city's police conduct rules. Keep key sections saved as screenshots. Prep a neutral, unarguable phrase. The most powerful one: I need a supervisor, and I require a written copy of the policy section you are citing right now. 4. Affirmation and exit strategy. 2 minutes. Remind yourself of your competence and dignity. You are demanding compliance. Define your hard limit. If I feel unsafe or if documentation is refused, I will exit immediately and escalate through compliance to legal channels. This gives you agency and leverage. Dr. Cruz remembered her preparation. She challenged Harrison's compliance. She looked him straight in the eye. "Mr. Harrison," she said, her voice clear but perfectly level, "I understand your interpretation of internal guidelines, but I need clarification. Could you please reference the specific section of the bank's Community Reinvestment Act, CRA, compliance policy, specifically Regulation BB Section 228.42, which details specialized lending obligations for minority-owned enterprises exceeding the standard asset thresholds? That restricts this conversation." The sentence that stops the room doesn't use emotion, it uses code. Harrison blinked. His practiced, dismissive smile froze. He didn't expect her to know Regulation BB, nor to cite the bank's critical CRA compliance commitment. Harrison stammered, That's regulatory compliance, Dr. Cruz. That's outside the scope of my underwriting process." "It's actually the foundation of your underwriting process," she countered calmly, pulling a printed policy section from her briefcase. "This section requires you, as a preferred lending institution, to demonstrate proactive inclusion for businesses like mine, defined by Nike's Code 541502. Furthermore," she added, "Fifth Star Bank is currently negotiating renewal for your federal contract related to the T-bill liquidity program. That contract mandates adherence to the highest standards of equitable access." The silence was electric. Policy crushed his ego. Harrison realized this was a systemic risk assessment. He was dealing with an executive who knew his bank's regulatory exposure better than he did. He started sweating, scrambling for his phone. "Let me just bring in the senior manager, Mr. Jenkins, to clarify these regulatory points." Dr. Cruz paused. This was the moment of the reveal. "That won't be necessary, Mr. Harrison," she said softly. She reached into her handbag and pulled out a small, metallic ID card. It wasn't a bank ID. It was a visiting board member badge from her organization, identifying her not just as her company's CEO, but as the independent oversight chair for the Federal Banking Oversight Committee's advisory board on minority investment infrastructure. She placed the badge on the polished table. Harrison went ash white. "I am also here today, Mr. Harrison, in my capacity as an advisory chair," she continued. "We are currently reviewing the equitable access performance metrics for major lending partners. Your behavior over the last 20 minutes, including the clear disregard for our established CRA mandates and your reliance on subjective barriers rather than factual data, is exactly the type of institutional bias our committee is designed to investigate." 3 calm steps, 1 loud result. Harrison had committed the ultimate corporate sin, letting his personal bias jeopardize a major federal partnership and expose the bank to severe civil rights and banking compliance sanctions. Suddenly, the actual CEO of Fifth Star Bank, Mark Ellis, entered the room, alerted when Dr. Cruz cited Regulation BB. Ellis's face was grim. "Dr. Cruz, my sincerest apologies," Ellis said, bypassing Harrison entirely. "This is unacceptable. Mr. Harrison, please remove yourself from this meeting immediately. Head straight to HR. This interaction is being documented and will be addressed." Harrison, his confidence shattered, gathered his things without a word. "Mr. Ellis," Dr. Cruz said, stacking her papers neatly, "my firm cannot partner with an institution where frontline leadership operates with such blatant, uncorrected bias. Until I see comprehensive internal policy review, mandatory retraining for all VP-level staff on equitable access compliance, and clear disciplinary action demonstrated, that $1.2 billion contract proposal involving our firm's proprietary risk assessment software is officially withdrawn." That is how justice happens. It moves from invisibility to competence, from abuse to accountability. Harrison was gone within the hour. The bank issued a formal apology and launched a third-party audit of their entire lending process. The institutional repair started with a massive financial consequence driven by a prepared, dignified individual. We must understand that true authority is not granted by a title, it is earned through knowledge and competence. When you know the rule, you control the conversation. Now, let's talk safety, because competence must always be paired with caution. Always respect your limits. If you are in a situation involving police or individuals escalating to physical threat, your priority is simple: safety first. Avoid physical confrontation at all costs. Document and escalate through proper channels: HR, compliance hotlines, civil rights organizations, or legal counsel. If you're in immediate danger, seek help and distance yourself. A recorded denial is better than a physical altercation. We are building a new narrative where we walk into these rooms prepared not for a fight, but for undeniable leverage. We are replacing the narrative of helplessness with one of strategic documentation. We are flipping the script from victimhood to authority. This isn't about being confrontational, it's about being accurate. I challenge you today to choose one single action that elevates your readiness. What rule do you need to learn? Maybe it's the exact contact number for your company's ethics compliance hotline. Maybe it's saving the 3 calm steps of the justice prep as a note on your phone. Pick one simple thing. Now, take 10 minutes today, right now, and perform that mini ritual. Get centered. Open that policy note. Decide the phrase you will use when bias strikes. This is your agency. Take it. We move forward together.